Hello, my name is Mike Brown and I'm the founder of Metro Analytics based in Salt Lake. I'm also a frequent contract employee with Economic Development Research Group based in Boston. I prepared this video in response to Compass's request for a performance measures framework and their encouragement within their RFP to provide links to work samples. I'll showcase three tools, one for complete streets, another for multimodal accessibility, and another for seeing measures in 3D. All are web-based, but all employ different technologies. Street Plan is a good example of our ability to design user-friendly frameworks for urban planning purposes. Salt Lake's MPO, the Wasatch Front Regional Council, selected us to create an online method for building a complete street so that city councils and others could discuss the trade-offs of their own ideas in real time. Here is Street Plan in action. You can see drag and drop icons. You can select any tile and change it. So we're changing the bus into a streetcar or light rail now, giving it exclusive guideway, going to the markings and putting down train tracks. Probably going to change the pavement here too so that we can have kind of a different color to show it has its own space. Right click, you can copy a tile and then paste it again so you don't have to recreate everything that you just did. So now we have a streetcar coming and going. Now you can see kind of the high resolution graphics. If you zoom in, you can see the full street speed limit going back out. This is a feature not quite released yet. This is on my development version, but it's kind of a landing page, introductory page. It has a quick start menu of help items that you can click on to get help with this. It takes inputs from users so that it can do red, yellow, green light indicators of whether it's a good design or not. So here I've selected that I have a suburban condition right now, and it's kind of an office or a commercial environment. Then in the future, I anticipate this will be more of an urban center, and it'll probably have a mixed use character more than dominated by one or the other. Showing the kind of grid that I have. So kind of a urban suburban type grid in this particular neighborhood. All of these are used for analytics. And then looking at different street types. What type of street is it I'm designing here? Local street, avenue, boulevard, suburban highway, rural highway, freeway. This is just a little bit of the flavor of Street Plan. Now I'll show you a multimodal accessibility framework that uses travel demand model data to in a web environment to show accessibility contours. So here you can see 2016 free flow speeds versus 2040 PM peak hour speeds. Anywhere I click on any zone, it automatically updates the map to show what you can reach from that zone within 15 minutes or 30 minutes or beyond 30 minutes. So what I'm showing you here is a map options that will allow me to set the map as either highway PM peak hour or transit in vehicle time. Different kinds of transit options. I can also show 15 and 30 minute contours, or 10 and 20, 30 and 45, any kind of contour. The next thing that it shows is a little chart that has the total population and employment that is within 15 and 30 minutes of the zone that I clicked on. So that's kind of neat, and it shows it for both free flow speed and for congested speed, or for transit as well. So very useful information. Next, I'll set up the left side to be 2040 PM peak congested contours, and the right side will be the same 2040 but for transit accessibility. So you can see how far you can get to from this zone by transit relative to a car. So car was pretty bad relative to free flow speed, but transit is still pretty challenging. You just can't get to as many places on transit as you can by car. If I compared 2016 transit to 2040 transit, I can get to many more places than I could before. Now I'll show you accessibility bar charts that are connected to this same data. So here are dynamic bar charts, and it's showing the zone that I clicked on. That's zone 943, it looks like. And it compares now to a zone in Provo's downtown and a zone in Salt Lake City downtown, and shows the total households that can reach those zones within 30 minutes. Under free flow conditions, that's the FF, under congested conditions, or with transit. So now I'm just showing Provo compared to Salt Lake, and you can see that households, Salt Lake has access to a huge number of households under any circumstance relative to Provo. And this is jobs, how many jobs are within 30 minutes of downtown versus in Provo. This next series of performance measures is really fun. It combines travel model data and GIS data into 3D Google Earth files. This measure shows transit ridership expected in Salt Lake County in 2040. So the height of each of these represents the total passengers per day that traverse that section. So we've got light rail in red. Dark blue is bus rapid transit. Difficult to see in here, but there are regular bus lines as well that are these light blues. Click on that. There's 210 riders per day, bus rapid transit, almost 10 times the amount at 4,000 per day, 15-minute headways it shows. But then if I go over here and look at the high sections of the light rail, 43,000 riders a day, so 10 times again. This is 5-minute headways. It's 2 routes that go over this section. This is very powerful stuff. You can compare, use a time slider to compare different alternatives against each other. Just good. This shows land uses in Salt Lake County in 2010. The height of the zones is the population plus employment per acre, and the color is the type of land use. So green means it's largely still rural, yellow means it's very much houses, orange means it's mostly homes and apartments but some commercial mixed in there. Pink is a pretty even distribution, and then the blues are very heavy commercial, and anything that wasn't colored was too light of development to detect much of anything. So then if I use this time slider, it can also be used as a scenario slider, I get to 2040 and you see the change. So that's the change from 2010 to 2040, at least as the data is input to the travel models. So you can see how that works. A lot of pieces of down here, Draper and Sandy, Daybreak in South Jordan. Some of these places are expected to grow quite a bit by then. Another thing you see is a lot of mixed use. Downtown has a lot more mix than it did before. If I go over here to this screen, this is the incremental change. So looking at downtown, this is mostly housing units developed from 2010 to 2040, and that's why it turned pink instead of blue. All these other places that are blank means that they were too built out already to add much more of anything. And very good measure. This is a great way to see land uses. This is the cube travel demand model results for a corridor study we did in Logan, Utah, where they wanted to see how one-way couplets could affect congestion levels if they implemented something like that on Main Street. So I'm going to walk you through the scenarios here. This first scenario is existing conditions on Main Street, and Main is the bigger, heavier volume, and then parallel streets and how they are. So the darker the color is, the more congestion there is. Then we slide along, and in 2040, according to the long-range plan, this is how bad things could be on all the streets in the area. So then we tried another scenario where we went to took the street just to the west and made it also a two-way street, but widened it to a 5-lane road. So there are two 5-lane highways right here. The situation got a little bit better, but it's still pretty bleak. And then here we have what happens when you take Main Street as one-way northbound and 100 West as one-way southbound. And things get better, and slide along a little more. Now we said, okay, what if we did the two upper streets as also a small neighborhood type one-way couplet, and everything got much better. And all of this, take Main Street right now, it's a 5-lane road, two each direction and a center turn lane. This converts it into just 3 lanes northbound, so extra room for parking and bike and pedestrian transit features. And it still carries a lot of volume. Today it's over 40,000, in the future it's 35. With that, we'll close with this rendering of Logan's future Main Street. These tools helped us find scenarios with the form they wanted and the function they needed. Thank you very much for considering our proposal and these framework examples.